guys, this is Brian, aka Texas Treasures, and today I'm bringing you another Poshmark closet review. I do these reviews to try to help out my viewers with some recommendations to help take their sales on Poshmark and other platforms to another level. And yeah, so that's my motive. So if you are interested and if you would like for me to take a look at your closet or your eBay store, in the comment section below, leave me your Poshmark closet name or link or your eBay link along with the number of items you have active and the number of shares in the past 30 days. You can also email me at brian.finn@att.net with that information, and I'll be glad to work on a review for you. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into it. On today's episode, Amy reached out to me on one of my YouTube videos, and she asked me to take a look at her closet, so that's what I'm doing today. All right, Amy's closet is at Another Way. So, by the way, I'm asking my viewers to take a look at her closet, and let's show her a little bit of love and share her items in her closet. I'm going to do just a few here because I want to get into the review. But you guys, if y'all could share some, that will help maybe try to generate some sales for her. So we've got that going on. All right. So Amy's stats. She says she has 1,007 active listings, has 63,000 self shares. And that's on the pro side. That's a lot of items listed. So good job on that. Let me. Oh my gosh. All right. So good job on that. That's a lot of items in your closet. So that tells me you're out there sourcing quite a bit. I am curious how you source your items. Are you garage selling, thrift storing, estate selling, storage uniting? How are you getting your items? If you let me know, I'd appreciate that. All right, so here's what we see, and when I look at it, I'm seeing here, these aren't white backgrounds, but this is, so I'm assuming probably recently you maybe switched over. I don't know if that's with natural lighting or if you're using Fotofuze, the app. This one definitely looks like Fotofuze right here, this Tory Birch wedge sandal that sold. And this is a great recommendation, right? If you're not using Fotofuze, that's an app to use where you outline the item and it gives you this white background. That really pops out. That's nice and clean. And I don't do it for all my photos, just like what Amy's doing. I use it for my first one, and then you can show your shoes or your items in the natural light. Good job on using all 8 titles, not titles, all 8 pictures. The title looks good. We've got the brand. We've got information. This is a wedge sandal and the color. Descriptions also look good, giving a little information about the item, including the size. And we're including the color. Also, Amy has a discount. If you buy 2 or more items through a bundle, you get a 15% off discount. So all that looks good. Now, I calculated Amy's sell-through rate, but you can do this by going to sold listings. And if you look at from just shared, and I'm not going to scroll all the way down, but I scrolled down till we found an item that was sold a month ago. And I came up with, let me look at my notes, 72 items sold in the past month, which is good. Out of 1,007 listings, that gives a sell-through rate of about 7%. The average for clothing is 11%, so we're a little bit lower than average. So we got to try to figure out, what can we do to bump that number up? All right. I like to look at sold listings. First is the default is just shared. So these are the most recent items sold. We got Fat Farm slippers for 15, Vineyard for 15, an Adidas top for 19, Cobb Hill flats for 20, Wrangler shirt 15, 14, 19. So what's kind of jumping out at me is that these items are not selling for a whole lot of money. J. Crew 15, Ralph Lauren for 20. I mean, they're okay. This one sold for more, 38. But I think what we need to do, a couple things. Number one, we got to get your sell-through rate up. And number two, your ASP needs to increase. That's your average sell price. Because ultimately that's what it's about, is how much money can you make from each item and how many of them can you sell. So the ASP is a little low. This is 35. That's not bad. And we could do a deeper analysis to figure out your ASP, like maybe take your last 100 items sold and divide it by 100 to get your ASP. I'm not going to do that here, but that would give you information on your ASP. Let's sort it from high to low. All right. Here you have a Gucci wristlet, 189, nice. Patagonia jacket for 65. Eileen Fisher wool blend sweater for 65. There's that Tory Burch wedge for 60. 59 here. These shoes for 50. Dansko mules for 45. Columbia jacket using a stock photo, which just be careful there. I know these stock photos will help your item sell, but the companies, and I've done this in the past too, so I don't want to be a hypocrite, but these companies, they could, do a copyright claim and have your listing taken down or worse. These loafers for 40. Bob looks up some new Adidas for 42. Levi's for 40. So the top of the line is, beyond this Gucci, which obviously sold for a lot of money. We're looking at 65, 60 as the top range. And when we go back to just share the items coming in, it looks like the average is going to be way less than that. 15 to 20 seems to be most of the items are selling in that range. This one for 25. So maybe 15 to 20, maybe 25 is, here's a 35, a couple 35s. So maybe 15 to 30 seems to be the range, maybe just guesstimating. Your average ASP is probably around $20. So we want to increase that. And so how can we do that? I'm gonna pull up mine just as a reference, and not like, and I'm not saying my closet is perfect by any means. I just work to grow mine, to make mine better. So here are my solds. I have them sorted by just sold, most recent. These Florsham boots went for 35. These Johnston & Murphy for 40. The Lucky Brand shoes for 42. A bra for 20. These went for 22, 17, 55, 35. And I also do some wholesale jewelry, 80, 12, 30, 32. These Lucchese were a really good sell last week for 150, 29, 28, 20, 24, 58, 60. So I know my average sell price, because I do a weekly what sold. It tends to be over 30, sometimes pushing in the 40s, and that's something I'm constantly trying to increase. And that's something I'd recommend for you as well. And if you switch it from high to low, right, you've got these Lucchese boots for 175. Some of this jewelry, I don't sell that anymore. Another pair of Lucchese for 150. Nike Air Jordans for 140. Ariat boots 130. Air Jordans for 129. So you see, I've got several over 100, including this Salvatore Ferragamo men's boots, Corel boots, another pair of Nikes, some vintage ski boots sold for 100. Got more jewelry, got more Nikes. You can see sneakers are good for selling. Cowboy boots, Justin Blundstone boots, vintage Larry Mayhem boots, suits sell well. So you can see I sell a lot of shoes and some other items. And I am always trying to do what I'm asking you to do, is to increase that ASP. So how can we do that, right? Well, it comes down to sourcing better items that will sell for more money. And how do you do that, right? And to me, there's a couple of ways. Number one, and I don't know, maybe you're already doing this, but if you're not, you need to cross list. I use List Perfectly, a service which will transfer. I sell on eBay and Poshmark primarily. I've also sold on OfferUp and Mercari and Facebook Marketplace, some of these local apps. And you do have to balance it, right? Because the more you cross list, the more eyes are on your item. So it'll increase that sell-through rate, that speed that item is selling, which is the positive. But at the same time, that takes more energy and time, which is where List Perfectly does cut that time down. I'll just click on the listing, and with one button, it'll share it over to the other platform. It takes about 60 to 90 seconds on average, which isn't too bad. But the downside on that is you got to remember, if you do cross list, once it's sold on one platform, delete it from the other platforms, because you don't want to run into items selling that have already sold, and then you could have a defect on your account and headache with a customer. Not a good thing. But I would at least cross list to eBay. eBay and Poshmark are my two biggest. You may even want to consider Mercari if you really want to speed that up. But you just got to get your inventory system down and make sure you are deleting the items once they sell. And the other way to do it, if you're going to stay on one platform, or even if you do the cross list, I also recommend this, is to research more, to learn the brands and the models when you're outsourcing to look for. Like for me, when I'm outsourcing, I'm hitting as many things. Like if it's garage selling, I'm trying to hit as many garage sales as possible. I'm quickly going through garage sales, looking for these items that I already know from my previous research that are worth good money. Of course, you can always research in real time on your phone, but if you spend some time researching on the front end, you'll have to do less research in real time. I do the same thing with thrift stores or estate sales or whatever. So let me give you an example. I do shoes, and you can do this for any niche, right? Like you could do these for jackets, you can do these for pants, and I've done this in many categories to kind of learn at least a basic level of what items are worth. So we'll look at my example, and all I did is I do shoes, and I still look at this every day. I will research shoes every day in some other categories for a few minutes. Type it into the description. Use your filters on eBay, pre-owned, sold. And then here's the key, right? I like to put 35 or higher. This will filter only items that have sold, shoes that have sold for 35 or more. A couple ways you could do it. I'm doing ended recently. You could also go high to low, but I'm gonna stick with ended recently because I want a big picture of all the shoes that are selling on eBay that are used, that are $35 or more. When I first started doing this, I had a notebook out and I would write down these brands, but the more I've done it, I don't do that. It's just the repetition. It'll kind of stick in your head. So let's walk through that real quickly. All right, so here we have a pair of designer Thomas Wild olive brown leather round toe boots. They do have the white background. They took a best offer for less than $115. And you could dig into these, but I'm just going to do an overview. Like when you're researching it first, really dig into it. Look at their descriptions. Look at their titles, because you can use those titles to sell similar for yours. And look at their pictures. Like this, and that's not even a great picture. This isn't even a great picture, but these are a pair of logger boots, which Hoffman Whites, and they're not even writing the best titles. You can improve that. That brand should be at the beginning. That picture should be better. And they did an auction. If you do an auction, eBay says you get about 85% of the value via auction. So this boot is worth more than that. Take good pictures, get it off of auction. Just off the top of my head, it would probably go for 75 or 80. Here, a pair of Doc Martens went on auction for 136. Once again, pictures not good, and it went on auction. They could have sold for more. Doc Martens, I picked up a pair of Doc Martens yesterday. I just know anytime I see Doc Martens, as long as they're not torn up, I'm getting them. Men's Vaquero red leather Western cowboy boots. And that's a horrible title, guys. That's a horrible title. What is the brand? Why are you starting with men's? Get that later in your title. Get your brand up here. But even with that, with a decent photograph without a white background, they took a best offer of 50, and these boots are probably worth more than that again. Mari Genuine Ostrich Black Horsebit Loafers. And see, I know from my research that horsebit is something to look for. I found a pair yesterday at a thrift store. Horsebit, I think they were Johnston and Murphy. So there's certain characteristics you're looking for that will tell you. Then pull out your phone and research it. They took a best offer less than 150. Once again, not a great photograph, but these sold for a bit under 150. Pair of Coach leather ballet slippers sold for $49.98 plus shipping. SAS, a lot of people don't know about this brand. These are comfort leather shoes. These sold for right at 50. Bed Stew, these sold for $45.59. Merrill, which is a great brand, and you'll start to see certain brands that repeat themselves. Look at these. These boots sold for right at 50. These Keen, and I've sold a lot of Keen. They sold right at 50. A bad picture. Why would you do an overhead picture? Nike LeBron 15s. They took an offer less than 50. Tony Lama, once again, men's shouldn't start. Should be Tony Lama, then men's Cowboys. They took a best offer less than 50. You got the Nike Huaracha running shoes sold for 60. North Face shoes for 50. Mazzano Wave Sky sold for 50. Adidas, Christian Louis Vuitton, obviously Louis Vuitton. They took an offer less than 90 on that. Jimmy Choo took an offer less than 50, but we know the minimum is 35 based on my filter. And I'm not going to try to pronounce all these, but you can just look at them, right? And just go through here. Chanel, they do have the white background. They're taking offers just to learn these brands to look for, right? And once you do this enough, there's another pair of Keens. There's Tory Burch, Irish Settler. Once you do this enough, you'll get to the point where you know which brands to look for. Allen Edmonds are bread and butter for me. Not even a great picture, and these sold for $87 and change, free shipping. Excuse me. Nike, Cole Haan, Red Wing, Cole Haan, Bad Title, should start with Dansko right here. Chanel, and you just see these brands. Salvatore Ferragamo, Nike, Meslin. See Meslin, that's a good brand to look for. A lot of people don't know that. Zamberlan, and some Alden Tobacco wingtip shoes. Look at the prices on these. And you could do the same thing, Amy or viewers, for any niche. You could do that for jeans. I've done this with men's pants. You can do it with suits. And that way, when you're out there sourcing, you'll begin to learn which brands to look for that will bring you really good money. So, kind of recapping, Amy, great job. You get over 1,000 listings. Excellent. Oh, your self-shares. I don't think I talked about this. You said you've got 63,000 self-shares. I do recommend trying to share your closet at least 3 times a day. If you did that for a month, you'd be at about 90,000 shares. I know that's a lot, and you're doing a good job with 63,000. This is where you may want to, see if you can find someone, pay them hourly to list your closet. I know every time my closet gets listed, and I try to get not listed, gets shared, and I go for 4,000 shares a day. Every time that cycle goes through, and I'm also over 1,000 listings, I get sales that come in. It's almost a guarantee. So even if you're paying someone, maybe someone you trust, I know there's VAs out there. Just make sure it's a real person to stay with Poshmark's terms. Every time, it could be well worth paying someone to share your closet. I know once I increased the number of shares on my closet, my sales went up. So try to increase that a little bit. Sell-through rate, the way to improve that is cross-listing on other platforms. Look at eBay and Mercari. And then also spending time researching eBay solds, the comps, in whatever niches that you're looking at. Looks like you do shoes. Women's shoes could be an area. You could look at jeans. You could look at jackets. You could look at suits. I mean, you can do any cat. You could do shorts. And so that way you'll learn which items to look for when you're outsourcing. I think if you make those couple little tweaks, that sell-through rate of 7%, you should definitely at least get it up to the average of 11%, if not higher, and that'll bring more money into your pocket, which is ultimately what we're all looking for. So viewers out there, if you would like me to take a look at your closet or even eBay store or Mercari, comment below, leave me your information, your store name, your closet name on Poshmark, a link to it, the number of 30-day self-shares, or email me, and I will work on getting you a video release to try to help you get to the next level. That's what we're trying to do, help each other out. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If so, smash the like button. That helps out my channel. If you haven't subscribed, if you like this type of content, subscribe. If you have subscribed, hit the bell button, and you'll be notified when my new videos drop. And then comment below any tips that you might have, or if you want me to do a closet review for you. And that's going to be it for today, guys. Until next time, happy treasure hunting. This is Texas Treasures signing out.